it's been many years now, Dan, honestly, since I've had the opportunity to do work in program directly with children. And what I noticed was, and we know the research, we know it's good for their creativity, their sense of self-identity, for their higher executive functioning skills, for their memory. We know all that now. But what I was noticing was that I had staff that were very playful in the classroom, but got awfully serious and stayed when they were just with other adults, their colleagues. And it began, and this really happened after New Zealand. In New Zealand, I had an epiphany, if you will. Others may have had it, I'm certain, much earlier, but it was my moment, where I realized that it doesn't really matter where you're from in the world right now. If you're in early learning and care, you're up against some serious stressors, whether it's poverty, war, migration, forced migration, whether it's the politics of your particular country, lack of funding, whatever. We're up against it, and that in fact, we needed to really start to spend some time focusing on our own wellness in order to be able to provide the best for children. And then that, since New Zealand, in the last couple of years, morphed into a focus on my part around, look, if play is so important for children, and it does so much for children, how come we're still not doing it? Why do we get so darn serious when we're together? And what does that mean? What do we lose if we do that? And so I've been pondering that and playing with my own teams around that. And what we've really come to understand is that we take our work very seriously and very passionately. And we have some bias as adults that we should be serious and that play is for children. And in fact, in adult language, we talk about being a player or playing the martyr or playing the victim. We have a lot of negative connotation. And so it began to dawn on me that maybe, in fact, if we infused a bit more playfulness into our professional, non-child interactions, adult interactions, that we might start to reap some of those benefits. A release of energy, a release of endorphins, a sense of creativity, a better sense of professional self, more conflict resolution and communication and relationship building, more innovation and creativity. And so that's really what we've been focusing on. And I know that it's rejuvenated my own professional practice. It's reminded me about the importance of that. And my teams are much happier. And we're now doing all kinds of fun. And I'm not talking about duck, duck, goose in the staff meeting. I'm not talking like that. But I am talking about things that allow us to laugh together and to share together and to relate and open up our creativity. And we're happier for it. And as the director, it's important to me because my staff is not leaving. They're not burning out. They're happy to be there. They're re-energized and re-enthused. So for me, it's become, yes, play for children. We know how important it is. Don't forget how important it is for us as well. So some people play, they're into physical fitness, and that's biking as their play. Or whatever the case may be. Some of my staff are amateur dramatists. They're in local theater, whatever that is. But in the job, it's really actually quite simple to open up that whole thing. For example, we do simple things like we have a sign-in board with magnet buttons, and we decided everybody would decorate their own button. It's an expressive, creative form of play. Well, that's happened for a while now. Just the other day, by accident, someone mucked up the buttons on the board. And instead of us rushing to get everyone's button back, it's now a playful game of who's got my button and do I want my new button and how do I negotiate the button? So it's an attitude and a perspective of joy and laughter and creativity and curiosity and openness to each other, even when it's mucky and they mucked up your button. Yeah. And it's funny because this whole thing started, it's true, because we were grappling in my division, in my departments, in my division, with this notion of life-work balance. And eventually we came to the collective conclusion that there's no such thing. I mean, we tried and tried for years and we just didn't get there. So then we thought, well, it's life-work fit. And then that didn't feel right. And then one of us stumbled on a quote that said, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the author, but the quote goes this way: there's no such thing as life-work balance. It's all life. The balance has to be within you. And we've been taking this different approach. And so that led to this notion of, if it's all life, my 8-9 hours of work every day, and the balance has to be in me, I need more joy. I need to be happy here, right? Many of us are working in over-regulated, underpaid portions of the sector. What else is there if we don't have joy together when we work together, other than the children? And it can't be enough. We see burnout, we see stress, we see attrition in the sector, and I think it's because we burn out just giving to the children, and we don't have a place to feed ourselves, or to be open to being fed in that joyful, lighthearted, open to learning kind of way. So I think you set the conditions and get out of the way. And if it doesn't work, you set a different condition, a different opportunity, and see what emerges. And even if someone doesn't play, it doesn't mean we don't connect with them. We learn new things about them. Sally is not a colorer. She doesn't like to do adult coloring books. That's not a big deal. But Sally may be the one who provides a yoga break at lunch. That's play. So I think it's just opening up our hearts like we do to children, the diversity of it, to each other, and not impose so many restrictions because we're adults on ourselves and each other and assumptions. The more laughter, the better. I think it was Einstein who said he always knew something exciting was happening in the lab when the scientists were laughing. And so there's something about that, right? And I know that children, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation did a little piece, and they were sharing that the research had shown that children laugh 30 times a day. By the time we're adults, 30 to 40 times a day, by the time we're adults are lucky if they laugh 18 times a day. They're lucky. And we know that they laugh more when they're together than alone. So for me, it's connection, it's relationships, it's laughter, it's storytelling, it's creativity, and whatever emerges. And it'll look different everywhere. Yeah, I think. I don't know for sure. I'm just playing with it.